Hello, and welcome to listening into another Rants. Um, yeah, these will basically be filler things that I'll be uploading every now and then, but whatever. Today's rant is going to be especially angry for me because, oh man, I really hate talking about this topic, but that is Echo Fighters. Boy, oh boy, they're such wasted potential. They really are. And I'm going to be talking about every Echo Fighter in Smash, including characters that, even though they aren't determined as Echo Fighters, are pretty much clones and based off of another fighter. So let's get right into it. We'll go into the first Echo Fighters that were in order, and that is Dark Pit and Lucina. Lucina was revealed first, technically, so we'll go after her. Lucina, I don't really like her design. She's basically an easier Marth without a tipper. What does that mean? It basically just means she's easier Marth, and makes Marth feel obsolete, because Marth has to rely on his tipper, and unfortunately you can't really space haul it much in Smash Ultimate, and thus leading Marth to not killing as early as he should. As a matter of fact, like, honestly, it's kind of wonky, because like I've seen tipper F Smash kill at like 40, but then not tipper F Smash won't kill until like 130 or 140. Like I swear I've seen that so many times. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. It makes Marth feel absolutely inconsistent, and Lucina is just basically a better version of him. He's just absolutely compared to her, and I don't like that. Dark Pit is basically better Pit. He makes Pit feel obsolete. Even though his Pit's arrows can be better in some scenarios, there's only some, especially in the game where Rushdown and projectile characters aren't really that great. Dark Pit really thrives at being better than Pit. His side B is better. Because you won't be in mid stage often, so upper dash arm sending upward won't really matter compared to electro dash left or right, depending on which side of the stage or like whatever direction you're facing. So at the end of the day, Dark Pit is just a better Pit, which is again, like, I don't really like that. After Dark Pit was Daisy, and Daisy's basically at this point now, at the time of recording this video, is basically just Peach with different hurtbox shifting due to her arms, but that's really about it. There's nothing else special about her, even though I prefer Daisy over Peach in terms of a character throughout the Mario series. It's just a skin swap. Like, literally, the one difference they had, which was apparently unintentional, I wish it was an intentional thing, was their turn-ups. But I guess, what can I really say, and it's unfortunate. Next up, I believe, is Richter. Richter, again, is just basically a skin over Simon. They share Hurtbox, they share everything. The only difference really is holy water properties. For those who know, Simon's holy water is fire-based, and Richter's is aura-based. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It only really helps in like a few matchups, and only by a smidge. So really, what's even the point? Yeah, that's quite unfortunate. Gosh. And then afterwards we had I believe it was Chrom first, or Dark Samus. Well, Dark Samus is essentially just a better Samus, slightly because of her boxes, and Dark Samus being a bit smaller, having more functioning hitboxes, we'll put it that way. Just like her box shifting is much different compared to Dark Samus, and roll is a little bit better, has shaved off a few frames compared to normal Samus, but that's really about it. There's really no difference between the two. Chrom, I'll save Chrom and Ken for actually no, I'll save them for now. Never mind, I'll save them now. So in Chrom's case, Chrom I feel is actually one of the better Echo Fighters, in the sense that he is actually well balanced, despite having like a no base mechanic like Roy does. He's balanced by the fact that he has a different recovery. The fact that his recovery is much more exploitable than Roy's, while Roy's isn't all that great either. It's definitely much more exploitable than Roy's, and because of that, it actually gives them a sort of balance that Lucina and Marth don't have, whereas Lucina's basically just, again, better Marth. Chrom isn't better Roy because he has no bad tipper, or because he has a good base. It's because of his recovery, and that recovery really just changes things for both characters. It's kind of crazy, but But Roy, I think, is really good, and Chrom is really good, and that's why generally in a lot of tier lists or whatever, you'll see them side by side or close by, like by one or two spaces, because they are actually pretty well balanced in my opinion. And I mean, I'm in the camp that I think Roy is the best FE swordsman out of all of them. But I think Chrom isn't that far off behind, and even then, I think there are a lot of unlike Simon and Richter or whatever. There are scenarios where you do want to pick Chrom or Roy, like, and it isn't because of like a small minor thing. Like, it really does make a difference. And then we have the final Echo Fighter announced for Ultimate, which was Ken Masters. Now Ken he's not an Echo. Let's get that right out there. He's not an Echo. Like, he plays so much more differently from Ryu. Like, come on. I mean, they basically just gave him the Echo tag because Ooga Booga, he was a clone in his own game. Bada boom! But that's really about it. A lot of his moves are much more different from Ryu. He has his own unique inputs. He doesn't even have Red Fireball. His Shoryuken's different. Like, a lot of things are just different about Ken. He's in my opinion the standard of what an Echo fighter should be, based on a fighter using a majority of the same moves, but still keeping it drastically different. Essentially like Melee clones, where in Melee, like, you had Fox and Falco, and they literally had the same moves, but their moves acted way differently. Like, Fox's Dare was a multi-hit, but Falco's was a spike. Their up Bs had different. Like, Falco's basically didn't go anywhere, while Fox's did go like far height. Stuff like that. Like, stuff like that essentially differentiate. That made the characters different, basically. And then, like, we get into like the Echoes that aren't really called Echoes, but I mean, let's face it, they basically are. Like, like, even though yes, Pichu, Dr. Mario, they don't play at all like their other characters, if Ken can be called an Echo, well, then they're still technically clones. They're still borrowing things off of a moveset. You're not going to sit here and tell me that Dr. Mario is not based off of Mario. What? Anyways, like, when it comes to them, I mean, like, I think those are also good examples of what a clone should be. I think a bad way of showing what a clone should be is like Isabelle. Isabelle's essentially just a worse off villager, and like literally, it still confuses me to this day why she was called an Echo Fighter, but like why she wasn't called an Echo Fighter, but Ken was. It's pretty strange. They share a lot of similarities. Like for instance, like we'll compare Mario and Dr. Mario. Dr. Mario is definitely slower, but hits harder. Like that's the general gist of Dr. Mario versus Mario. Isabelle's literally just villager, just with worse smash attacks in my opinion, and her specials aren't even as great. Like her fishing rod's probably her only good one, but even then, like Lloyd Rocket is just, in my opinion, way better, and her Lloyd Rocket is just not as good as Tree. So really, what was really the point? Just other than to promote the new Animal Crossing game? Yeah, like, come on. So yeah, in terms of clones, I think clones in Ultimate really just suck. They're pretty bad. I mean, I understand that like a lot of the characters had to be clones due to the short development cycle of this game, but in my opinion, like, if you're going to add them, at least have them have something different from the other character. Like, for instance, you could have had Alf be in Echo Fighter, but like he could have just had Rock Pikmin. So like, say for instance, you know how like Olimar has each Pikmin is good at like a specific thing. Like Purple's good at smash attacks, Yellow has like a lot of range, Blue's good at throws. You could have had like Alf had Rock Pikmin, and they're just generally they have a trait of every little bit, but not as good as all the other Pikmins. Like, not a master of anything. They're just all around good. So it'd be like a Lucina thing, yeah, but that could still be like, that's still good enough for me. Versus like Dark Pit and Pit, where it's like only three of the moves are different, being Arrow, Side B, and F Tilt for some unexplained reason. So yeah, like that's really nothing. Having just a visual difference that kind of affects the matchups with Simon and Richter is pointless. I just think that a lot of the clones in this game are pretty bad. They share like if you're like, in my opinion, if you're going to have a clone fighter, right, at least justify them being there through them having differences in moveset. Otherwise, what's really the point of adding them? You know what I mean? That's why I think Melee handled clones the best, because while yes, in Melee's case, a lot of the characters, they shared the exact same move. You weren't playing Pikachu or Pichu, bad example. You weren't playing Fox the same way you were playing Falco, You're not playing Like, what's another good instance? Like, you're not playing Doc or Mario the same because they're obviously different. Even though they had the exact same moves, they were still different. They still felt a lot different. Versus in Ultimate, where these characters really do feel similar to one another. I mean, I understand like it was to pad out the roster, but in these instances, it really feels like that, and I don't like it at all. I think the clones in this game are absolutely the weakest in the franchise. None of them are good at all because again, what was the point? That's basically my question. What is the point of adding them if you're not going to change them up in any way, shape, or form? I don't get it. I really don't. But I think that's where I'm gonna end off my rant with Echo Fighters. I don't think they're really. I mean, if they did put in the effort of changing them up, why should I put in the effort of continuously talking about them for like another 10-20 minutes? It's really no point, and I kind of just want to get this through. Yeah, Echo Fighters suck. That's my message of the day. Alright, they may bring fan service, but guess what? Like, when you really think about it, all they are is just a character with different animations. And that's it, and that's unfortunate. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this rant. Rants, for those who aren't in my Discord, rants are basically just going to be filler things. I do want to try to upload once every day, Monday through Friday. Try to at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna try to commit to that schedule. And I feel like these videos are perfect for that because I love to talk a lot of trash. I like to praise things, but I also like to talk trash. And in these instances, I'm gonna be talking about franchises or things in a bad light because you know what? I'm not a very happy person, but I don't need to be. It's just my opinion. Alright? And whether you find it trash or not, it doesn't really matter to me because again, it's just my own thoughts and yeah. I think I'm done. I think I'm done. Yeah. See you later. Peace.